Today, I am going to be sharing a real example on how to comp properties. Step by step, I'm going to show you all a recent deal that came my way. It was for a wholesale deal from a wholesaler essentially to flip or to hold as rental. You know how all wholesalers have buyers list. Now I'm on the buyers list since I now flip and hold rentals. And this was sent to me a couple months ago. And I'm going to walk you all through the steps of how to find ARV, how to find repairs, and how to find the offer price. So, this is going to be a step by step guide. I'm going to share my screen with you all and share a real example because I think a lot of times we can do all these calculations on how to find ARV, how to comp essentially, but there's no real example. And so I'm going to show you all. Now, I didn't personally take down this property, but another investor did. And so I'm going to share that with you all right now. And excuse me, I'm looking at the different screens around me, making sure I'm in focus and everything. But yeah, so let's go right into it. Be sure to like this video, you all. I'm starting to live stream a little bit more. Share this video, subscribe, do all that jazz, y'all. That would be great for the algo. All right, so I'm sharing my screen, and right here we have ARV repairs and offer. ARV stands for after repair value. After the house is fixed up, how much is it going to sell for, right? And then repairs, how much does it cost to repair? Now, repairs to me are one of the hardest things in wholesale real estate for beginners because how do you calculate it when you don't flip a house when even in wholesale you're not planning to do anything to the house. And if you have no experience with it, it's just extremely difficult. So I think that's one of the hardest things to learn. And so I'm going to try my best to teach you all how to calculate repairs. The other thing is offer price. Offer price comes in once you know these two things, ARV and repairs, usually. Now, repairs, one thing I would say is that, yes, I can teach you all, and I'm going to teach you all the best I can, but ultimately it boils down to experience. And over time, you just get better at it. Essentially, I'll just let you know for repairs, you have to get the price as low as possible. That's what you have to do. All right. So first thing is after repair value. So let's go to a real example listing from a wholesaler about a property, and then we're going to look up what happened with this property because this property was taken down from from an investor, and they flipped it. Now it's on the market and it's actually pending. It's under contract to be sold. So we'll go through the whole step of this process so you all can see. And now that I'm on the other side, I can show you all this. So right here, this is a listing from a wholesaler in the area, and they listed this a couple months ago, I believe in the summer. And so they were charging $249 for this listing. Well, not for for essentially the contract, since they're wholesaling. And so 249, it's 4 beds, 2.5 baths, and it has the address. So calculating ARV, offer, all this, location, right? It boils down to that. And so they have the address. We'll look up the address and we'll run comps. And then the price, they want 249,000. Now we have more information. It's 4 beds, 2.5 baths, built 1988. It's a newer build. So, a lot of the plumbing, electrical, major components, it may not need major renovation with those things, right? Because for example, the plumbing is probably PVC, it's not cast iron where you have to replace it every, you know, couple of years. And so it can be easily replaced also. So they have their ARV at 409,000. Now, this is essentially what you all would be doing, right? You're trying to calculate ARV, you're trying to um, do different things. And so 249, and they believe that ARV is 409. So a spread of about 250,000. Wait, the spread is no, the spread is not 248 actually. because it's 249. So it's actually 149 one because this is 150 between 249 is 400, that's 150, correct? And then another, so it's closer to 160. I don't know how they calculated the spread, but it should be less. And let's see what other comments they have. Recent comps, last 3 months, desirable neighborhood, anything about the work needing to be done. They don't. Sometimes wholesalers will put, okay, it obviously needs a new HVAC, it needs a new roof, things of that nature. If you all have that information, put that into um, your your listing. Yeah, and this is going to be recorded. Is this going to be recorded? Yes, this is going to be recorded. Thank you for asking that question. And yeah, once this is done, it's going to be on the page. So that's what we have right here. Um, in this house, it looks good on the outside. Obviously, it probably just needs a pressure wash. It doesn't need to be repainted. And you see, it just looks cosmetic. All you have to do is just clean this up. The carpet may be even in good condition, right? So we're looking at what is needed, and we're going to write down. So maybe paint. We'll just write down paint, and we'll just put flooring just in case they have pets and the carpet smells. So we're going to write down essentially all the things we need from repairs. So that's what I would put in repairs. So essentially, write out all all repairs needed. So that's key to finding all of this is to write down all repairs needed, right? And then you go line by line and you just list it out. Sometimes you don't even have to put prices. You just list it out for the investor. And yeah, why have I stopped making phone calls? It's just I just stopped, and right now I'm focusing on my flipping and rentals, and so that's the reason why I haven't really been focusing on that because I haven't been doing it. Right? Okay, so you see the pictures. There's wood floor in here. Honestly, this probably doesn't need to be changed. Maybe take out the wallpaper. We'll see what they do. We see the kitchen. The cabinets look solid. Honestly, it's just cosmetic. Honestly, this stove looks good. All of these appliances look good. I would keep that the same. Like, this is a great deal. Honestly, you can clean this up and just rent it out. This looks like a clean property. All right. So, and they had the age of the so this is a good tip when you all are taking pictures. Take pictures of the water heater, HVAC system, stickers, serial number, whatever you can do for the listing. So he's just showing us. I'm trying to see. So we saw a half bath. I wonder if there's a full bath. Okay, obviously new paint. So this is a bathroom. And so when you're walking through it, you just take all these pictures and you just write out everything that's needed. Um, Paint, a cleanup, and anything else that may be needed. All right. So that's what I would do. So they're asking 249 and it's in this neighborhood. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look up this neighborhood. Essentially, I'm going to put the address in and see comps. So right now, this is where the area is at. It's in this area. And so what I'm going to do is like in between these roads right here. So all I'm going to look kind of around here because let me see, is this in Ringgold? Okay, yeah, this is in Ringgold. And I think they have similar school districts. So essentially anything around here because the property address is right here essentially. So we know this is 4 beds. So I'm going to use 4 beds or more, and I'm going to do 2 baths or more. And then actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at sold comps right here. And this is Zillow. So this is free for anybody to use. So I'm going to do sold listings. And then from here, what I'm going to do on more, I'm going to try to put a um, within the past 12 months, essentially. Or you can do 6 months, but I'll just do 12 months. And we can look at the listing real quick. It's 2,300 square feet, and they sold it. So this listing was sold in October. So actually, since the market has changed a lot, what you can actually do, I know I'm going fast. I'm going to do the last 6 months actually because things change quickly. If you need more comps, you can do last 12 months. And so this is where you have it. You have 4 beds, 2 baths in this area right here. And I want to look here because you have to see if it's in the right school district. So, for example, let's go back to the house. So, this is the house that they were marketing. And I go down to nearby neighborhoods and I see, okay, it's Ringgold, middle school, elementary, and high school. So, it's all Ringgold. So, when I go back to the comps, for example, if I go right here and I click this, I look at this, I'm like, okay, this is slightly a different neighborhood, but and then I go down and I see if it's in the same school district. And essentially it is, right? I think the primary is a little bit different. Or if I go up here, is it in the same school district? And then I just go down and I look at neighborhood, right? And it's in the same school district. Right? So you can do that. Make sure the houses are in similar or in the same school district as the comp. So, for example, this one has different, even though this is Ringgold, it has different high schools and middle schools, right? Because our comp has Ringgold Elementary, Ringgold Middle School, Ringgold High School. And this is Boynton Elementary, Heritage Middle, Heritage High School. Even though they have similar ratings, they're different school zones. And honestly, I think people will like either one, but you have to be careful because sometimes you may be still in the same city, even maybe 2 miles away, but they're completely different school zones. So make sure when you're running comps, you're looking at school zones. All right. So from here, I know they're around here. I'm just going to go down this list and I'm going to look from newest. Okay. And then from newest, we have this comp right here. It's 260,000. Now, my comp has a 2-car garage. This doesn't have a 2-car garage, all right? So that's something to consider. And for the most part, it seems like they use the old garage as a bedroom, right? Because I can tell automatically right here that they're counting this as a bedroom. And this is where the garage used to be. You see? So you have to know these things. You have to understand because look at this window. This window is the same window as you see on the outside of the house right here, right? So that window is that window over here. So they converted a garage to a bedroom and they're counting that as a bedroom. Yeah, and that's why I only sold for 260, but you go to the next comp and it's 400,000, right? So this wouldn't be a viable comp. And then on top of that, this is 1,600 square feet. This is 2,200 square feet. And if we go back to our original listing, if we go back to our original listing right here, we see the square footage is 2,376, right? And it has a 2-car garage. So going back to this recent sold, this is a little bit away from it. Um, right here, this is a different school zone because you remember I clicked one of them here. So I'm gonna stick to these comps because I know it's within this neighborhood. So first one, I'm going to look at this one that was listed at 470,000. So this one sold in June. This is slightly more updated, right? Because my comp was built in '08 or 1988, and that's another thing you all should do too. Comp it according to your years. All right. So this is too new of a property, but it's still good to look at. You see, it sold for 470,000 back in June. I already know this is probably a mostly updated property, right? It looks good. So this probably wouldn't be the best comp. What you can do, hello, you could put years built. So for example, let's put 2000 or no, 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 no. Actually, it was built 1988. So let's put 1979 to 1999. Let me see if there's any comps. All right. And then we have more comps. All right. So obviously, this is the house that was sold, right? It's 240,000, right? Even though they were trying to get 249, getting 240,000. So even this wholesaler, they have their business, they have their website, they're doing tons of volume. Even they have to make adjustments sometimes on their price. They were marketing for 249, but they ended up selling it for 240,000. Maybe because it was a strong all cash offer instead of an investor like me using a hard money loan. It has to go through a process. Maybe they could have closed the next day. We never know, right? So they ended up selling that for $240,000. All right. So let's look at another comp within that age range. And right? Because it was 1988 and I put 1999. I think we can go a little bit higher. I think we can look at some 2005 builds possibly, but let's just stick for that for you know, good reason. So the next comp we still have this $400,000 one. I think this 400,000 even though it's in slightly different school zones, the school ratings were the same, right? There's all 7 out of 10. So for comps, I would actually use this right here because it's similar comps. Look at 2234, built the same exact year, 1988, 4 beds, 2 bath, 2234, and ours was 2376. So it's a little bit more. Ours is a little bit more, and that one sold for 400,000 a few days ago, actually. So we're going to use that comp, right? So in calculating our ARV, we want to take comps. So for example, I'll just put, for example, 400K here, boom, right? Now let's go pick up another comp. I'm not going to pick up this one because we already explained it's not a viable comp because it's less square footage. They don't have a garage. They convert a garage to a bedroom and people don't like that. That's why I only sold for 260. Now the next one, we have this one right here, 334. Okay, 4 beds, similar, slightly more square footage. Now let's see how updated this one is. Now, it's a little bit dated, but it's livable. Obviously, people bought this property for $334,000. And so I would actually keep it, even though it doesn't look the best. The backyard could be a little bit flatter. And yeah, so 334,000. And that one, where was that one though? 334. That one's right here. So we're going to use this comp also, 334,000, right? So let's put 3, 4K. All right, and then let's go on to our next comp. Our next comp is 350,000. So this is a little bit way out here when our property's right here. So that may be going to further down. So let's see if we can see what else we can do. But I think this is too far. So what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to extend this year to 2006 and see what we get if we get a little bit more comps. Um, these are 5 beds. That's the thing. These are 5 bedrooms. We don't have any. Let me see. 2012. I'm trying to see if we can get more right here because that's where our property is located. So if I go back to our listing, our property is located right here. You see that? So I'm trying to see if we can find any, and the only one I found was obviously this comp, which is the one that we're using. And so from there, what we're going to do is we're going to um, see what we could do. So we have another comp right here. It's 570, 334. And in these, let me use exact match. So that's another thing you can do. You can just use exact match on Zillow so they won't go over 4 bedrooms. And these are the comps we have. What I can do also, I can go even older because if your house is newer, it's always better. So let me put 1970. So we have some 200s right here. So we have this 400, we have a 370 right here, 334, we have an updated one, but it's older at 295, and we have a 381 right here. So this 381 might be a good comp. It's a little bit older, but it's way bigger. It's way bigger actually. So, and yeah, it's not really updated. Okay. So there's not a lot of comps. So I'm just going to grab this one since it's bigger, right? And look at how it looks inside. It obviously looks livable. It's a little bit dated, but we're going to pick this up too. We're going to put 350. So those are the three comps I'm going to stick with right now. 350K. Now looking back at our pictures, we obviously saw that it needs some cosmetic updates, right? Paint, some flooring. Look at this issue right here, some vinyl siding, siding on the exterior that needs to be done. Now we didn't go inside, see if there's foundation issues or anything else. So this is mostly cosmetic. Now, I just know this area, so I know how much a house of this size will cost. To clean it out, to do new paint and flooring, it would cost a good, you'll be surprised, maybe $30,000, $40,000 for that. But if there's anything else, appliances, other things, roofing, that's maybe another 20. But I would just write down everything that I can get and then go from there. So write out all repairs needed. And so I'm going to say flooring. Let's say we replace all the flooring, painting, and then let's say we replace some vanities, and we replace um, appliances to stainless steel. And then we're going to put some exterior vinyl siding. Excuse me, y'all. I'm a busy man. I'm a busy man. Okay. Exterior vinyl siding. And that's what I could see from the pictures, but we never know what's happening, right? So from there, how do you calculate repairs, right? Well, first of all, hopefully you're walking the property, but if you're not, all I would say is that from this number, we're calculating our ARV. Let's calculate that, and then we'll see about the repair. So ARV, let's say we want it to be, okay, we have a question. How do you present your contract offer to the seller? Do you use an attorney or title company from that state or your home state? How do you present your contract offer to the seller? So the way you present your offer to the seller is just by telling them, right? You present it directly to them. You don't need to first go to your title company to present your offer over to your seller. You can go directly to the seller. And your contract, if you already have a contract already made, then just you can go to your title company or an attorney to make sure, and make sure they're a wholesaler friendly title company and say, hey, this is what I have. Do you think this looks good? Do you have any recommendations on what I should do about this contract? Do I need to add anything to make sure it's assignable? But if you already have one, and of course you all have templates online, and of course talk with your legal professional before you use mine. The one that I use, but I have different videos with links attached to it, and maybe attached to this video. And then you just go directly to the seller and say, okay, this is my offer. And if they agree, you present the contract to them, and then from there they sign and you sign, and you go on, find your cash buyer, or and market the contract. All right, so medium price. So You can do average or you can do medium, right? So average is just adding it up, dividing by 3, or you can just do medium where you just pick the middle one, $350,000. That's how you find your ARV. Now, with this one, let's say we do the average. Let's see how much it is going to go up to. So I have my trusty calculator. So if I do 400 plus 334 plus 350, and then we divide that by 3, we're at 361. So we can either go 361 or 350. So our ARV would be around 363. Um, yeah, around 363, 353, 60. So 350 K. I think it can go a little bit more because we saw some other comps, and we have this comp that sold for 400. And these other comps, they weren't as updated because obviously we're going in there and we're going to fix it, right? We're going to make it pleasant and nice and appealing. So I would push for even higher, even though we did the range 350 to 360. I would still go higher, right? I think it can go for closer to that 400. So I'm actually going to put 400K. So knowing that, right, and they're asking for 249, essentially cosmetic. I would say cosmetic is usually, if it's all cosmetic, like vanity, some appliances, some painting. Honestly, based off of the size, this might be $40,000, $50,000. And so let's see if I can put a price to it actually. Because this was 2376. Let's say we do 50,000 divided by 2376. So let's say $20 a square foot for cosmetic, 2376, right? That's where I'm around for cosmetic. $20 per square foot for cosmetic. Now that's be conservative. If you're working with a cash buyer who does their work themselves, it's going to be way much cheaper, or they have their own crew, it's going to be more cheaper. Now, let's say it needs a new roof, it needs plumbing, electrical updates, changing lights, doing way more. Then a house of this size can be even more, right? It can go up to that, 80,000 range. And so if we do 80,000 divided by 2376, now we're closer to $30 a square foot. So if there's a little bit more needing to happen, so I would go 35 actually. So 35 per square foot. Now this is my area, right? If you all are in the West Coast or on the East Coast, it might be different. But I'll do $35 a square foot. From there, we're going to do, if it's more intensive, um, let's just do average rehab, right? Because if it's 1,000 square foot, yeah, 35,000 you can do a lot for 35,000, right? Average rehab, that's like a medium rehab, $35 a square foot, I would say. That's labor and materials now. And then I would say to go up even more, you can go $50. Now you can spend a lot, go all out with this project, and it can cost you a good $120,000, right? Easily, 2376. Yeah, it can go up to $50 easily. And honestly, now these are super rough numbers. High end or rougher house, right? Because it can be a smaller house, right? And it needs so much more, right? This is not only for high end to make it look nice. This is, hey, if the house is rough, it's going to cost you a good amount of money because maybe there's a dilapidated wall or something, so it's going to cost way more. So looking at that, I see that this house is mostly cosmetic, right? So if we took 20, let's just say it's going to cost us 50,000. So if we're between 350 and 375, let's just say we're at 375 essentially. 375 for ARV. And then how to calculate your offer price. All I'm going to do, let's do 375 times 0.70. It's 262. Now, you can use this rule and then we subtract, let's say 50,000. That would be my offer. That would be my offer. 212,000 to the owner. It's that 70% rule. In today's market, we're back to the 70% rule. Before, you had to push it, you had to change it. So that's where I would be. And I know there's wiggle room because I know somebody would pay even more. So let's just say we just do this. So we calculate it by doing 375. Let me write this down for you all. 375. I'm just going to put K times 70% minus rehab, 50K, right? And so if I offer them this 212, I can present this offer at 235,000 or $225,000 to a cash buyer, right? You can wrap your fee into this. So for example, you can put, okay, I want 10K also for your assignment, which is your assignment. And so your offer essentially would be anywhere from 200K to 220. Now, if we go back here to this person, so they're trying to sell it at 249, and they believe the ARV is 409,000, which it might be because this is a really good area. So let's just see the ARV with that. So let's say this wholesaler, they did 409 times 0.70, so they're at 286, and let's say they think it's going to cost only 40,000 to do this. 246, right? But they want to make 20,000. So they may have gotten this property under contract at 220,000, maybe 225,000, and they're trying to sell it at 249. Now, we saw that they ended up selling it at 240, so most likely they did put it under contract around 220. That's what I'm assuming. So let's finally look at what happened with this property. All right, you all are ready? Okay, boom. Here's the property. It's listed at 395 and it's already under contract. So on the outside, they didn't paint it. This doesn't look like a new roof or anything of that nature. They have some nice photos. They cleaned up the exterior a lot. They put a brand new door because let's go back. Let's go back and look at it. Let's look back at it. And we're seeing all the photos before. You right? You see it? They just cleaned it up. They didn't change anything about the exterior. Maybe they cut some trees down. Did they cut some trees down? I think it's just closed up. Yeah, they didn't even cut any trees. And these bushes here in the front, it's the same bushes. It's the same bushes, right? Have to do a lot. Maybe they pressured washed it, right? Maybe they did that. Okay, now that you go inside, let's see the flooring. Now, maybe there was original hardwood floors underneath because those look like hardwood floors, right? And so we go inside and we look at the other property, we see that they had some carpet. You see the carpet? And look at the hardwood floors. These are like original hardwood floors that they probably had underneath the carpet. And did the listing say that? There are some places in the siding that will require, but the remainder interior cosmetic. Okay. So it seemed like they just extended that hardwood. So that's what they did. You see that they painted the house too. It's one color, right? They added some can lights. So maybe the rehab was a little bit more than just cosmetic. And lights aren't part of cosmetic, right? If you don't have to do all new electrical, you're fine. Okay, so this is the kitchen. They ended up painting the kitchen cabinets. Let's go look back at what they did. So you see the kitchen right here. So they kept the cabinets and they just painted it this ugly blue color. I'm not a fan of the blue color. And they changed the countertops. Obviously, did they change the countertops? Countertops might be the same. No, I think they did. They did change it. Replace the plumbing and they did new flooring. Now, this doesn't look like like tile flooring. This looks like LVT. So there's luxury vinyl tile that you can put down on the kitchen. And then they put new appliances, stainless steel. You saw it, like I said. So this probably still costs around 50, maybe $60,000. All right. Let's see what else did they do on this property. All right. We see that. So we saw this bathroom earlier and you saw they replaced the vanity because you see here, where is it? We had a picture. Here it is. You see this vanity? They replaced it. They ripped out the old carpet. I mean, the old wallpaper. And this is what we have. We have this new bathroom right here. So that's what they did here. They didn't replace the windows, right? The windows look original. All right. And it seems like maybe they didn't paint the whole house because we see that this is one color and this is another color. Let's see if this is the original color from the original photos. Okay, so the living room was orange. So they did change the living room color. Um, Let me see if I can get another photo of the other part. But yeah, they changed most of the painting, it seemed like, and just painted it one color, right? So yeah, it seems like they may not have it. But you see, it does look fairly new, right? This carpet looks new. Let's see. I've seen the before. Yeah, so this dining room they did paint it, obviously. So because it was orange before, they changed a lot of the flooring. Bedrooms were painted. They put new vanities in. So let's see what we can find here. So new vanities, new shower towel. So they did put a new surround. As you all can see the difference. So this is the original and this is the new. So they did put a new surround. So they actually did more than what I expected. And this is the upstairs, and we have the upstairs photos somewhere here. We have that area right here. So this is this area. They painted it. Is this new carpet? Maybe they just cleaned the carpet. I'm not sure. Let me know what you all think. All right. So they're selling it for $395, and it seems like they're going to get it because it's under contract in less than. So they listed it and it went under contract in 2 days, which is extremely fast. ARV, we said 350 to 400 is in that range, but I was basing my comps off of 375. And even in their listing, they put 409 as the ARV and it's selling around 395. So they bought this property for 240 and they're selling it for essentially 400. Maybe they spent 70, 80,000. So now that's what, 320, maybe 330. But let's say they bought it cash, they have no interest payments. They can sell this. That's the thing. Interest payments kill beginner flippers because of that. And so essentially that's a real life example of, you know, the whole thing about flipping comps and everything. Now, I do have some questions here that I'm going to answer. It says, how has wholesaling been for you this year? I'm going back to work and wholesaling on the side. Man, it ain't it no more. It is more competitive, I would say, definitely. And I don't wholesale. I don't wholesale. I'm concentrating on my flipping business, on my rentals, right? I'm working on a rental right now, and I'm trying to sell this flip. It's been listed for a while. I'm going to release a video soon talking about how my house has been sitting for almost 2 months, and so we'll see how long it's going to take and everything. Um, and then I have see one of my contractors is texting me for a a lockbox code on this house renewal that I'm working on. All right, so essentially, yeah, wholesaling is different. You have companies that just flood the market, and so that brings a lot of newbies out. But there's still opportunities. I think right now is the best opportunity actually to wholesale because prices are lower and there seems to be more motivation with sellers right now, possibly. Um, and then other than that, I think you can still find a way. I think traditional marketing, like even mailers, can work and cold calling. Just continue doing that, and you can still find deals at the moment. But yeah, times have changed. A lot of things changed, and people are still wanting higher prices, but there are deals to be made, and investors are buying. But this has been going on for 41 minutes. This has officially been my longest stream. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. This will be on my channel. Be sure to look at it. Hope you all enjoyed this day, and I'll talk to you all later.